Bangladesh ramps up security for Thursday's elections after more than half the polling stations were flagged as vulnerable to violence. The poll serving as a critical test of democracy after a long period of political upheaval. We're now joined by Dr. Amit Ranjan. He is a research fellow for the Institute of South Asian Studies at the National University of Singapore. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Amit. Well, this long period of political upheaval, we could argue, started long before even Sheikh Hasina being ousted in August of 2024. Given this upheaval, the interim government needed to make sure there was enough stability in place before elections can run and for the vote count to actually matter.
Thanks for having me here. It's long time since Hasina left. At that, when the interim government came into power, it promised for reforms. And there was also expectations that the interim government will go for next election, and so that you have elected government in power soon. But that time, also NCP and Jamaat-e-Islami, the two political parties, which are very important political actors in Bangladesh, they were also supported for reforms. They asked for favoring deeper reforms before election are held. And even the government, Mohammed Yunus-led government, was in favor of having reforms before this elections, except the BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, that was demanding for early elections. Last year, Yunus decided, last in June, Yunus decided to go for, Bangladesh will go for elections in the first half, maybe by April. And finally, after a discussion, they agreed to have elections in February. So now it's election time, and let's see how the political parties fare and how people vote and what's the result.
All right, you refer to, I suppose, the main contenders in this election. So the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, that is at least what polls suggest the front runner. And then there's its main rival, that's a Jamaat-e-Islami, and that is a multi-party coalition, which includes what you mentioned, the NCP, so that's the National Citizens Party. This is a youth-led party that arose directly from those uprisings in 2024. How has each positioned itself, or two are in alliance now, so that they feel they can win the confidence of voters?
I believe that BNP has an edge, but given the situation, you cannot say that Jamaat is way far behind. It's an important political actor, and it's going to have impact in the Bangladeshi elections. BNP has an edge. Then NCP is part of it, but the main contest is always between the BNP and the Jamaat. The most important thing which we have to look at that the country has about 127 million registered voters. Out of it, 44% electorate are youth. So it means that they are going to play an important role. It's age between 18 and 37. So they are going to play an important role. Second, how those supporters or sympathizers or even workers of Awami League, where they are going to vote and how tactically they are going to vote. So how many you may vote for BNP, some may go with Jamaat, or you may say that no, we don't have Awami League or we don't have anyone which supports idolatry, so they may abstain. So it depends on that. And then there's a minority, which both BNP and Jamaat also saying that Bangladesh is going to have a religious freedom, and then there's no discrimination. So all these factors are going to play an important role and decide that who is going to have edge. But at present, BNP certainly has an edge, but you cannot write off Jamaat.
All right, 2 points there. You mentioned Awami League, so that's the party led, was under Sheikh Hasina and has now been barred from taking part in these elections. And you are saying that its supporters, of which many might actually be silent right now, they could decide to follow BNP, they could decide to follow JI, or they could abstain altogether. That's one factor. The other factor is how BNP and JI, along with its alliance partner NCP, might present themselves as being more unified, more inclusive, more able to look beyond differences in gender, ethnicity, and religious beliefs.
Yeah. These factors are going to play an important role. That how people are going to vote, especially those who were earlier with Awami League and those are from minority community. And even BNP's manifesto talks about religious harmony. Jamaat's call for discrimination free. Even Jamaat has given a ticket to Krishnanandi, who was a part of the party since 2003, and he's contesting for Khulna 1. So they are appealing to everyone so that they can present themselves as an inclusive party and not only for a particular religion or particular ethnic group. How people are going to cast their vote, on what issues their vote are getting determining. So all these, they are going to play important role on Thursday elections.
Let's look beyond Bangladesh right now, and certainly that will be in the minds of many who go to vote. A very large and powerful neighbor, of course, India, its largest international border, is in fact with Bangladesh. Leader Sheikh Hasina is now in self-imposed exile in India as well. But we are seeing India, despite frictions with the interim government, making some overtures to both main political divisions, so BNP as well as Jamaat-e-Islami. They have met with the Indian High Commission and Indian diplomatic officials as well. So what does that suggest in terms of New Delhi's mindset towards any new government in Bangladesh?
Yeah, any new government which comes, Dhaka, whosoever prime minister, he knows that India is an important player, and he knows that how important India is for Bangladesh economy. We have the India and Bangladesh have shared borders, people-to-people contact, and many other things which makes these two countries very close. During this period, during the interim government period, the state-to-state relations, the Yunus government didn't have a good ties with the New Delhi, but still there were discussion, there were talks, there were meetings between the officials. Then when Khalida Jia was on sick bed, Indian Prime Minister Modi wrote a long tweet for her and assuring that India will provide all sort of help for her health. When she died, it was Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar. He was in Dhaka meeting Tariq Rahman. Then after that, the Indian High Commissioner in Dhaka, he had a meeting with Tariq Rahman, and there were also news saying that the Jamaat leadership also had a meeting with Indian High Commissioner. So all such development shows that India is looking, and even Bangladesh is looking, Bangladesh political leadership is looking to have some sort of agreement and some sort of relations between the two countries. But then there are also problematic area like the cricketer, but cricketer was released, Bangladeshi cricketer was released from Indian franchisee, Kolkata Knight Riders. That created some sort of misunderstanding, and that also created problem between the two countries. In fact, there's a news coming up. There's a story covered by the BBC saying that how many of the Bangladeshi youth have turned against India because they always relate Hasina with India. So that is a cause of concern for New Delhi, which New Delhi has to keep into mind when it's going to link up with the new government which Bangladesh is going to have after these elections.
Our final question, Dr. Amit. This is 11 democratically elected governments since Bangladeshi independence in 1971. This time, would you argue is the most consequential? Final question.
Yeah, it's a democratic elections, so we cannot say who is going to win and what is going to happen. But what I see that this government has, whosoever comes into power, he has a important responsibility to pave a way the, to the people, to Bangladeshis, especially if you look at the economic condition. And to be fair with Yunus, he tried. He made some reforms, some positive, and some could not uh, figure out. But then there's the social issues, the law and order issue, there's social friction in the society between the religious group. Then there are international pressure. Then there's also about reforms, like Yunus government appointed reform commission, and on 12th, uh, there will be also a referendum on the reforms. So how the new government is going to look at the reform? Because according to interim government final stages of reforms, they say that if the charter, that is a reform charter, is approved in referendum, the next parliament will decide that whether reforms are to be implemented or not.
As you mentioned,
so how
Dr. Amit Ranjan,
government is going to look at.
Pardon me for cutting in. So not just elections, but also a vote on this referendum for the July Charter. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Amit Ranjan, Research Fellow for the Institute of South Asian Studies at the National University of Singapore. Thank you.